Uh, Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Charles in Charge Cowboys Sports Report. As I got back home from Buffalo last night, almost around midnight, went to work today, handled business, finished the job, got paid. It was a fun trip to go up there to Orchard Park. The stadium, Highmark Stadium in Buffalo, looked like a high school stadium here in Texas. I was shocked that it was a pro stadium. But the only upside to that was anywhere you sat in the stadium, you could see everything. You could see every player's number. You could see the ball, where the ball was at all times. You didn't have to look at the Jumbotron not once. They only had two screens, one on each end of the stadium. Nothing like AT&T Stadium. If we'd have won, that would have made the trip perfect. But on the flight back, you put your phone on airplane mode. You use their Wi-Fi and you can watch live TV. So I was able to watch Eagles game as I'm flying to Orlando, and then from Orlando, which is my layover, to get back to Houston. When I hit Orlando, it's halftime. When I get on the plane to get to Houston, it's the second half. So I was able to watch Seattle come back and win that game, which kind of saved the trip for me because I came home with something, because if, spending the money going up there, all that to watch them get their ass kicked. And then if Philly would have won and then been the game ahead of us, that would have really stung. But being that they lost, that evens out. So in your mind, you could say we beat Buffalo, they beat Seattle. But we lost to Buffalo, they lost to Seattle. But in reality, we just missed a big opportunity. I've I've got some fire to get into here in a second, guys. If you're watching this episode and you haven't subscribed yet, hit that red subscribe button. It's free. It costs you nothing. 500 is my first goal, then 1,000. After that, the show will take off. This will be a show you look forward to watching, just like Law Nation, Mark Holmes, Mike Fisher, and then boys, the big boys. It'll take time to get there, but I will get there. I guarantee you. Going to Buffalo was an experience. Like I said, I would have preferred to have, spent that money, went up there and witnessed a victory. But it is what it is. Philly dropped, and they look like they are hurting a lot worse than we are. That game that we lost against Buffalo, I believe, was another aberration. You're not going to win every game. And with the Cowboys, you can tell halfway through the first quarter whether they're going to play ball and win the game or not. They're that kind of team. Buffalo won the toss. They elected to receive, marched down the field, scored, right? We got the ball. On our second play, Brandon Cooks beats the defense. Dak has to just drop it in the bucket. Cooks hits his head on the goalpost. He overthrows him. 3 and out. We punt the ball. Now the game is 31-3. 31-10, really, but that was garbage time touchdown. 31-3 when the game mattered. Now, it snowballed in the sense that when it was 7-0 and Buffalo had the football, we stopped them on third down to get the ball back. But Tank Lawrence gets called for a roughing the passer penalty. That was blatant. He, hit him with his elbow as he was going down. Extended the drive for a touchdown. Then the following drive. It's fourth down. Sam Williams is a freak athlete. He's bigger, stronger, faster than most guys on the field. He could be a special teams ace as well as a pass rusher. Bones Fossil needs to teach him how to block a punt because the first punt that Buffalo had, it looked like we almost blocked it. The second one, Sam Williams was right in the punter's face, but he gets to the punter so quick, he doesn't know what to do. So he jumps up with the punter, and the ball goes underneath Sam Williams. Like the punter punts the ball, and Sam Williams jumps up so high, the ball goes underneath him. It's a regular punt, and he comes down on the punter on his plant leg, which was a roughing call, 15-yarder, not the 5-yarder. As, people that played in high school, maybe college, and our fans now, even we know, if you get that kind of penetration on a punt block, you go to where the ball's going to be on his foot. I mean, Sam Williams could have just stood in front of the punter and had the punter kick him. It was the most awkward attempted punt block I've ever seen that wound up being a roughing the punter call, extending Buffalo's drive, which they capitalized and scored another touchdown on. That's when the snowball effect started happening because our defense is made to play with a lead or in a tied game, not winning down 2-3 scores. But then the J-Ron Curse penalty on third down, that was a makeup call because the refs missed 2 calls on that drive. One of them was when Allen slid and kind of got touched. They wanted a flag for that. But at the same time, I saw Micah Parsons being held blatantly on that play, so that would have been offsetting to me. And then the next play, Josh Allen gets wrapped up by Mozzie Smith, and they call the play dead. Josh Allen shakes the tackle, and they believe, Buffalo went nuts. They thought the play should have been extended. But even as he shedded Mozzie Smith, Tank Lawrence was right there coming in and would have ended the play. So they were doing that to protect the quarterback. But being the coach was in the ear, the crowd was going nuts about that call, about the whistle being blown. So on third down, when they throw it, Curse just barely shoved the guy from behind. Their helmets barely touched, like no more than that. And they throw the 15-yard passing, targeting call, basically. And that drive continued and went for points. At 14-0, when we're driving the ball down the field, we get into the red zone and we can't capitalize and get 6. We settle for 3. So it's 18-point deficit at halftime. We still have a shot because we get the ball to start third quarter. We're driving the ball pretty well. It's 3rd and 1. Mike McCarthy wants to get cute. At this point in the game, you want to start getting rhythm on offense. And we were driving the football, 3rd and 1. Get that yard, move the chains, live to see another set of downs. But no, Mike McCarthy wanted to get cute, wanted to play action, and hit CeeDee Lamb on an option route. That didn't work out too well because Dak got sacked for a 10-yard loss on that play. We thought Dak audibled out of the run, and that was him, but turns out that was Mike McCarthy's call. It just snowballed, and it was bad. I believe if we were to play again next week, it wouldn't be the same result. We just came out flat like we do sometimes, flat-footed. And after we were down 2 scores, you can see the defense lackluster effort. In person, live, that close to the field, you can see them not trying to tackle Cook. James Cook. even Micah Parsons, who usually goes 110 every play, was making half-ass tackle attempts. 266 yards we allowed, season high for our defense. Now, Jonathan Hankins, if he'd have played, he'd have helped, but they still would have ran the ball like they were because they had the lead. And if a team has a lead on us in our offense is not responding, then they're going to run the football. And it's going to work. The fumble, which I was not able to see, apparently it was a fumble, but at that point it was 24-3. But still, Mike McCarthy, throw the red flag. In the press conference, he's talking about, I had the flag, and throw the damn thing. Look under every rock you can to try to, pull out some kind of miracle victory like Romo did at Buffalo in 07, 25-24, when Romo had 5 interceptions and it was just a colossal cluster fuck in that game. But Romo had a knack of coming back when he was down multiple scores. Dak really doesn't. And they take Josh Allen out, 10 minutes left in the game. Dak stays in because he wants to get some kind of momentum on offense to end the game. And that was the end around the CD to get to the end zone. But with Philadelphia losing, that is pretty big because we're both 10-4 on Sunday. After the Bills game, we fell back to the 5th seed. Then Monday night, after the Eagles game, we went back to the 2 seed. Now, what's funny about this, we're going on 12 minutes here. Says I got two people here with me. Do y'all have any thoughts of y'all's own on this matter against the Buffalo Bills? Do y'all think it's just an aberration, just a bad game after a hot 5-game streak and beating Philly? We left a lot of energy on that field, and then coming to Buffalo, really came out flat, or just thought because we rolled Philly that we roll Buffalo was, that, or the Cowboys finding out that they clinched a playoff berth before the game. Did that take an edge off, just a slight edge off of, their, passion for the game? Who knows? All I know is after the first quarter, I was pretty sure that it wasn't going to go, the other way. So Christmas Eve, we have the 10-4 Dolphins. The knock on them is they haven't beat a winning team this year. Similar type knock we have. So what's funny is if we beat Miami, which I believe we will because we haven't lost back-to-back games since 2021. That was at Kansas City, and then 4 days later at home against the Raiders. That was without Amari Cooper and without CeeDee Lamb, because at Kansas City, Lamb went out in the first drive with a concussion. So that was the last time we lost back-to-back games. Usually we rebound pretty good after a loss, even if it's a shellacking of a loss. Close loss, big loss, don't matter. We rebound pretty well. Going into Miami right now, I think we're 1-point underdogs. I think we'll beat Miami. They're not as physical as Buffalo. They're more of a track team like we are. They're going to try to run the ball just like Buffalo did with Mostert and Uchenna, or however you say that rookie's name. And then Waddle and Hill on the outside, just deadly. could be a shootout game. I would not be surprised. Being that they have Jalen Ramsey healthy, Teron Armstead healthy as their left tackle, is big for them. They didn't have those players when they played Philly. Xavier Howard, is he going to play? There's a few other key names for Miami that's up in the air right now. Hopefully, Hankins is ready to go Christmas Eve, and Zach Martin. Man, when I saw Zach fall and stay on that field for that long of time, he looked like he was in a lot of pain. I was like, oh man, I was like, am I witnessing the end of his season? But then I saw him get up and walk to the tent, and then walk out of the tent. And I was like, all right, he's not going to play the rest of the game, but he looks like he should be okay. We want to go into the postseason healthy. Now, this game against Miami, we don't have to win this game against Miami. Really, what it's strictly for is confidence on the road. We want to beat Miami to get road confidence, because we can lose against Miami and that will not really change anything about us winning the division, because we just need the Eagles to lose one out of the two against the Giants or lose to Arizona. We lose to Miami, but beat Detroit at home and beat Washington, and Philly just drops one against the Giants or Arizona, then we will clinch the East, even if we lose against Miami, AFC opponent. So then we'd both be we're 10-4. We'd both be 12-5 teams, except if Philly lost to the Giants, they'd be 4-2 in the division. If they lost to Arizona, they'd be 4 conference losses. Therefore, we'd be the number 2 seed. We'd be the number 2 seed because we beat Detroit week 17 head-to-head, knocking them to 12-5. And the number 2 seed is perfectly fine. As well as we play at home, that gives you 2 home games. Wildcard weekend, you're at home. You win that. The divisional round, you're at home. And then if San Fran, which will be the number 1 seed, wins their game, then you travel to the Bay Area for the championship game, which has been about 30 years since the Cowboys and Niners played in a championship game, and that would be monumental. And it wouldn't be a 42-10 game like it was week 5. Different team now. I know we got beat down by Buffalo, but out of conference team, Buffalo's, starting to peak at the right time and fighting for the playoff lives, just like Seattle was last night. I'm pretty confident with what Darius Slay said about his defense before electing to have knee surgery to miss the rest of the regular season. What Jalen said after the game in his press conference, and what A.J. Brown has said, that there is a lot of dissension in that locker room. And during the week, midweek, Nick Sirianni switches defensive coordinators and promotes Matt Patricia to DC without telling anybody. Now, they only allow 20 points against Seattle and all them weapons, but Drew Lock was at quarterback. I'll speak for yourself. Shady was trying to make it sound like not a big difference between Drew Lock and Geno Smith. There is a big difference. Geno Smith played last night. Seattle probably could have put the game away early in the fourth quarter. But for the Eagles to only be able to put up 17 points against Seattle, 13 against us, only 6 on offense, and then 19 against San Fran. Most of those, actually, 13 of those garbage time points. Offense is very anemic. The best case scenario, plausible. I mean, best case scenario would be to get the 1 seed, right? Win out. Philly loses 1. And, baby girl, please. And San Fran loses to Baltimore and then the Rams week 17. But San Fran's not going to lose 2 out of the next 3 games. Not going to happen. They could lose to Baltimore. But if they do that, they're going to squash the Commanders. They're going to squash the Rams. They're the number 1 seed. Lock them in now. Number 1. But the best case scenario that could possibly happen to us that is plausible is Philly losing at home against the Giants and Arizona the next 2 weeks. That'd be a 5-game losing streak. And the way they're looking, it's very possible. Because since the Kansas City game, since their bye week, they've been averaging 150 rush yards a game allowed on defense. And with Darius Slay out with knee surgery, James Bradbury's the number 1, and he's not very good. James Bradbury, I know he was a big-time signing last year. He re-signed this year. Deebo Samuel, when he said Bradbury was trash, that might be a little harsh of a word, but he wasn't wrong. When Bradbury was with the Giants, CeeDee Lamb's rookie year, Lamb was, toasting the full man. So, with Tommy DeVito, Saquon Barkley running the ball as well as he is, and that defense is Adoree Jackson healthy right now, because that's going to be important. Adoree Jackson can take some heat off of that secondary in New York for the Giants. Let me see. Adoree Jackson, injury. So he got hurt October 15th. So I believe Adoree Jackson will be playing Christmas Day against Philly. And then they have that first round corner. I forget his name. And then on, the defensive line, they have, Kayvon Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence. They have Xavier McKinney at safety. They've got some guys on defense. And on offense, Saquon. With Philly not being able to stop the run in KC, Buffalo, Philly, Dallas, and Seattle in 5 consecutive games. I believe Brian Dable can scheme up a game plan to where Saquon gets $150 on the ground and sets up DeVito on some good play action passes down the field with his speed guys, Jalen Hyatt, Darren Waller, and whatnot. Now, Christmas Eve, if we go to Miami, knock them off in their stadium, then we'll be 4-4 on the road. And if Christmas Day, we get a Christmas gift and Philly loses to the Giants at home, it goes to 10-5, we go to 11-4, then the number 2 seed is literally in our own hands. Because then I'm going to the Lions game. That's for damn sure. As soon as that clock hits double zeros and Philly loses to the Giants, if that happens and we beat Miami, then I don't care what it costs. I'm booking them tickets to the Lions game at home, because that game right there, we win that game at home, gives us a head-to-head win over the Lions, keeps us a game ahead over Philly. And then all we got to do is go to Washington and close it out. And Sam Howell, who's got benched during the regular season, Ron Rivera's on his way out. I'm pretty confident that Week 18 at Washington won't be like last year's Week 18. But I'll definitely be at the Lions game if we beat Miami and Philly drops against the Giants. The Giants have been playing tough lately. They won, 3 of their last 4? They won 3 in a row, then they played the Saints. DeVito got knocked out during the Saints game for most of the game or the entire game, I'm not sure. And the Saints have a very good defense. So they held, that Giants offense in check. The Eagles defense is in such shambles. I would not be surprised if Saquon Barkley runs for $150 and DeVito throws for 175 and scrambles for another 70 because the kid's got legs, and they upset Philly in Philly because they are melting down they are imploding. So much dissension in the locker room. A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts right now, almost reminiscent to Terrell Owens and Donovan McNabb in 04, 05. And then Darius Slay, talking about his defense, how he's doing his job. He's making his plays. Everybody else needs to step it up. Throws everybody under the bus, and then elects to have knee surgery right after that to miss the rest of the regular season. How convenient. A lot of people still think that the Eagles are a really, really good team. They have a lot of names, but they are not a team this season. What Acho Emanuel said, they're a knockoff of last year's team. They're more than a knockoff of last year's team. They are a team. They're the 2020 Steelers. That's what Philly is. 2020 Steelers. I believe we're going to go to Miami. Christmas Eve, win that game. It might not be by a big margin. It might be by 7. It might be by 3. But we will beat Miami. We don't lose back-to-back games. And then on Christmas Day, I'm going to do the family thing. We're going to wake up early, open the presents and whatnot. But I'm going to keep my left eye on that Philly game. And if the Giants upset the Eagles at the Link, then I am buying my tickets to the Detroit Lion game and be there Saturday night, bells on, everything, to the max. Because then winning that game will almost for sure secure the number 2 seed. And the number 2 seed is, as good as it gets, because the Niners are going to be 1. 2 home games, and we play great at home. So as a 2 seed, you'd be playing the 7 seed, which right now would be the Rams. If not the Rams, Seattle. If not Seattle, Minnesota. I really don't want to see Seattle again, to be honest with you. When they played this Thursday night, it was a pretty damn good game. And then round 2, if the wild card teams don't win and Philly's the only wild card team that does win and beats the winner of the South, then we'd have Philly coming into our house in the second round of the playoffs. And that would be, we'd welcome them into our house round 2 to give them their second beatdown of the season in our house. And then we'd hope that San Fran would lose round 2. They probably won't. Then we travel to the Bay Area and gut up to play a game that could take us to Vegas. Because if we make it to the championship game, we haven't been there since I was in 3rd grade. And that's the path to it. There's many different paths. but that's the easiest one. And I believe the Giants, even in Philly, I mean, DeVito wants that job next year to be a starting quarterback. He wants to be a starting quarterback week 1 next season. So he's going to be out there giving everything he's got. Brian Dable wants to keep his job, and he wants to end the season on a high note. And beating Philly or splitting with them will not hurt his stock. And they still do have Darren Waller. They still have speedsters and Jalen Hyatt and that Darius Slayton. And with Philly not being able to stop the run, I can see Saquon having a big day. And then, on play action, Darren Waller just eating them up over the middle because they have no linebackers to cover a tight end like Darren Waller. There are some mismatches with the Giants and Eagles that people don't see. And that Giants defense is good enough to limit this Philly offense that's underachieving enormously underachieving. Is this chat working? I don't get it because, yeah, seems like it is so. Okay. Suppose Hankins plays at Miami, and so does Zach Martin. Tyreek Hill is going to play. He didn't play against the Jets because he wanted to play against us. So Miami's going to have their all-pro left tackle, Teron Armstead, the 2 running backs, Waddle and Hill. Now, other than Armstead, their right tackle went out against the Jets. Questionable if he's going to play this next game. Connor Williams is their center. We know what Connor Williams is. Assuming Hankins and Martin play, what's y'all score prediction at Miami Christmas Eve? Right now, I got 2. I mean, with a small channel, it's hard to do a good live show. So, doing the best I can. People just jumping in, jumping out. That's fine. Here in the future, they'll be jumping in to stay and being like, man, why was I like that to that guy? His show's pretty good. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed, guys, hit that red subscribe button. It is free. It costs you nothing. It's a free investment. And then soon I'll be able to get studio equipment, sound bites, and then a call-in line just for this. So when I do live shows and the channel's bigger and there's people in the group that, call in pregame, postgame during the week, just like Law Nation show. He's the one that inspired me to do my own thing. And I believe in it. Call-in line is very important to a Cowboys Syndicate show. Very important. People want to get their voices heard. It is. What is today's a Tuesday? It's a Tuesday and it's 9:26. That's about 10:30 on the East Coast. So it's probably why it's an empty crowd tonight. But this will upload. Teflon Breed, my man. Hey, you sub to the channel right now. That warms my heart, dude. Every subscriber counts. I put a lot of effort into this, man. And just doing this live show, getting a new subscriber, getting me one step closer to 500 means the world to me. Teflon Breed, I appreciate it 100%. Your score prediction. Assuming Hankins will play. Assuming Zach Martin will play. We know Tyreek Hill is going to play. And, their left tackle, all-pro, Teron Armstead is going to play also. The right tackle, we're not sure. He went out in the Jets game. What's your score prediction at Miami Christmas Eve? I haven't said mine yet. I'm interested to see what you have to say about it. I like that name, by the way, too, Teflon Breed. Pretty good. Teflon Breed. I wish my name was Teflon Breed. That's what Mike Fisher says about every super chat he gets. Says the person's name. I wish my name was so. What's your score prediction at Miami? Because I believe we're going to win at Miami. We don't lose back-to-back games. I don't care if it's on the road or not. 28-17 if we play our game. That's 28-17 is a very good score prediction if it were to happen, because that would mean that we hold Miami to 17 points at their stadium. That means we hold Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Raheem Mostert, Uchenna, or whatever that rookie running back is. That means we hold that prolific offense to 17 points, which would be a big boost for our defense, who just got ran all over in Buffalo. I mean, I was sitting there in that stadium watching it happen in disbelief. And I was like, it's not just because Jonathan Hankins is not out there and Mozzie Smith is. It's more than that. We were just out schemed. Buffalo wanted it more, and we just came out flat-footed. 28-17. I see it more of a shootout-ish type game. I'm going 35-28 Cowboys. And I'm hoping that it's like 35-21 late in the fourth quarter, and then Miami scores with it like 3 minutes left to go, and then we get the ball and then kill the clock until triple zeros. I don't want it to be 28-28, and then them cardiac games, every one of those cardiac games get me that much closer to heaven. Put it to you that way. But 28-17, I would love that. I would love it if it was 21-10 at halftime, and then we come out in the second half and go up 28-10, and then just allow 7 points in the second half. That'd be beautiful. Beautiful win. And like I said, this game against Miami is not a must win. We can lose against Miami because the two games that we need to win are the NFC games, Lions and Washington. If we lose against Miami and say Philly beats the Giants at home Christmas Day, right? And they go up 11-4, we go to 10-5. And then say Philly drops to Arizona the next week and we beat Detroit. Then in that case, we move back into first place. Because they would have 4 NFC losses compared to our 3 NFC losses. And then if they beat the Giants, we beat Washington, then we're locked into the 2 seed. So, but my Christmas wish, Christmas Eve, we beat Miami. Christmas Day, Saquon runs wild on that Philly defense. Jalen Hurts, who was a turnover machine this season, throws one to Adoree Jackson. Kayvon Thibodeau knocks one out. If that happens, like I said, I'm going to the Lions game. Just got back from the Buffalo game. I'm going to go to a game in person where we win. I feel if we figure out our run-stopping defense and limit Tyreek as much as possible, then we can get to Tua and hold them 70. I agree with that. Because Tua is not Josh Allen, and that offensive line is strong on the left side, not on the right. Tua's small also. He's not near as big as Josh Allen is. And if we have to start fast. That's why Buffalo in the coin toss elected to receive, because they knew if they could score on the opening drive, they could get up on us. And if Dak would have just dropped that pass in the bucket, Cooks had the defense beat, that would have been a quick answer, and that would have shut them bastards up at Highmark Stadium. But it didn't. And they get loud in that small stadium. They get loud. I was surprised how loud they get. We got to start fast. So if we win the toss, we need to elect to receive, just like against Philly or anybody else. Get the ball first. Go down there, 75-yard drive, punch it in, take the lead, and then put the stress on the Miami offense. And if we're able to get them off the field and we're able to get a 2-score lead, then we're going to force them to pass, abandon the run. That's how we win. And their offensive line cannot stop our pass rush. Tyreek Hill won't, as fast as he is, he wouldn't be able to get up in time if we're bringing pressure, if we're bringing 5, 6 guys, especially as fast as Micah is. But we got to get up on them fast. And this Miami game is just to get road confidence. Like the old saying is, you want to win all your home games, you want to split on the road. That's during the 16-game schedule. You want to go 8-0 at home, split on the road. It's 12-4 record. You most likely win the division and get a number 1 or 2 seed. We're 3-4 on the road right now. So if we beat Arizona, we'll be 4-4 on the road. That's splitting on the road. And then at Washington, if there is something to play for, we'd be 5-4 on the road. And I believe we're going to finish undefeated at home, beating Detroit. But the Eagles are imploding from the inside out. I've seen this happen to teams, and it gets ugly. 05 Eagles, exactly what happened to them. Teflon Breed, do you think all the sick players we had may have been a factor in Buffalo? I don't believe in excuses. Yeah, I didn't know about that until I was at the airport, and they were telling me that like 8, 9 Cowboy players ate at a Buffalo restaurant and got sick from the food. I didn't know about that. And whenever you're at the game, you're not hearing what the sideline reporter has to say or what the guys in the booth, Greg Olson and company, are saying. You don't get that information. So that could have been a big, part in us not coming out hot, fast also, it was just a snowball game, like I said. Those 3 first half penalties, we stopped them twice on 4th down. Roughing the passer, that one was warranted. Extended the drive, they scored. Sam Williams had the punt blocked, but he didn't know how to block it. Most awkward looking attempted punt block I've ever seen. It wasn't roughing the punter. That extends the drive. They score on it too. And the penalty on J-Ron Curse was just a makeup flag because of them calling the play dead when Josh Allen was sacked but got out of the sack, and they blew the whistle dead, and the stadium erupted because Josh Allen was still playing, but they didn't see number 90 just, coming in on him, and he was going to smack Josh Allen pretty good. The refs blew the play dead for his safety, so he didn't take that hit from number 90. And then the play before that, when Allen slid and got touched by one of our guys, he wanted a flag. So that 3rd down and 10 incompletion, Curse touches back of the receiver. They barely touch helmets. That was a makeup call by the refs. Everybody in the stands was saying that. Those 3 penalties really is what made it snowball. And then once we got down 21-3, the defense pretty much kind of quit because the offense wasn't doing anything. And we're a team that's built to start fast, get up quick, and when we do that, that's our game. We can beat anybody in the NFL if we start like we're supposed to, just like we did against Philly. We got the ball first, went down there, scored. Their first drive, they were driving, we forced a turnover. Against Seattle, we got the ball first, went down there, scored a field goal. Even though Seattle responded with a touchdown, so do we. That Seattle game was, a battle test type game, one of those type games that you need. But the blowouts that we've been having is because we start fast. No team is, blowing out teams like we have this season. Philly's played Washington twice. They've played bad teams, and it's been close. They played the Patriots, 25-20, final score. If Mac Jones threw 350 yards at the end of that game, if Mac Jones, rookie receiver, gets 2 feet in bounds, then they have 30 seconds from the 8-yard line to punch it in and win the game. Philadelphia just got lucky on those 10 wins. They really should be 8-6 right now, if that. But it sucks that we came out flat-footed against Buffalo, being that they lost against Seattle, because if we would have won that game, then we'd be a game up right now. But I am very confident that the Eagles will drop one of the next 3, maybe 2, because they are playing very bad. And there is a lot of dissension in the locker room. And who switches defensive coordinators midweek? I mean, this was on a Wednesday. Nick Sirianni did this to try to spark the defense. And it didn't work. Drew Lock, not a very good quarterback, engineers a 92-yard touchdown drive to win the game. If you can't stop him 92 yards, you can't stop him, hold him out of the end zone. That's bad. I can't. We lost. I get it. But Philly's implosion is hilarious to me. I can't stand some of their fans. Eagles have the worst fans in the NFL. People want to say that we're annoying. We're just everywhere. Eagles fans have no respect at all. I mean, when the Niners were whooping their ass in Philly, the Philly fans were throwing snowballs at the Niner fans in the stands. Like really? That's how you're gonna act about your team? Get your ass whooped by their team? The Eagles fans are classless. When Trayvon Diggs got his ruptured Achilles in practice after the second game, going into week 3, when he ruptured his Achilles, and it was on all the shows, Eagle fans were chiming in. Oh, man, I heard about the great news. Trayvon Diggs is down. LOL, ha ha. Funny to them, right? No, you don't wish injury upon any player. But that's just the way their fan base is. And that's why I cannot stand that Kelly Green or their fan base. And next season, when the schedule comes out, I'm booking my ticket to Philly. I'm going into the enemy. I'm going into that Lions Den next season. All decked out in cowboy gear. I don't care how bad they think they are. Buffalo, they were pretty accommodating. They were pretty cool, pretty nice. I try to put out a lot of videos to, show y'all how it was over there. There was a guy I met from Mexico, is on one of my shorts. He came from Mexico to see the Bills play. He's a Bill fan, and he wanted to show the flag that he had. It was a Mexico flag stitched in with the Buffalo Bill flag. And he goes, Mexico Bills Mafia. I had to give that respect, man. I was like, man, you flew from Mexico to watch this game? That is dedication right there. We guys from Ontario, guys from Toronto, guys from out of the country coming to watch that game. On the flight, the layover from Baltimore to Buffalo, that entire flight was sold out. Nothing but Bills and Cowboy fans on it. Never seen nothing like that in my life. Very interesting, but the PFF chances of us getting the 2 seed is 29%. Us getting the 1 seed is like 59%. I think the chance of us getting the 2 seed is a lot higher than 29%. A lot of people are assuming that Philly is just going to roll over these next 3 games. They're assuming that the Eagles are just going to roll over the Giants twice and Kyler Murray and company with no problem, just like Philly's been playing great recently. They've lost 3 in a row. Their offense hasn't cracked. Their offense has not cracked 20 in 3 games. When they ban the tush push, Philly may be in trouble. You see, Long Nation. Yes, that cheating bastard, Jason Kelsey, he's been doing that the entire time. The NFL and other teams have just now caught on to that. Since last season, he's been doing that. Whenever they line up to do the tush push, he gets that ball and he extends it like another half yard to a yard and stretches out his body. It's not noticeable. Not noticeable unless you're looking for it. And then they started looking for it. And the last 2 games, he's had 3 false start penalties on the tush push because he's been doing that shit. And he's been doing that since the beginning. That's why it's so effective, because they're getting an extra yard off the get-go before the snap even, before the play even starts. Yeah, I saw that on Twitter. They call it X now, but yeah, I couldn't believe that. I mean, if they believe they're that much better than the other team, why do you got to feel that you have to get an extra yard or an extra half yard? Why do you feel you got to do that? If you feel that you're that much better and that your offensive line is going to push the defensive line backwards, why do you got to cheat like that? That's cheating, bottom line. Nobody noticed it until now, a year later. They're not going to ban the tush push, by the way. Hip drop tackle will be banned next season. Tush push will not, because not every team can do it that well. But now every time that Philly lines up to do that, the referees are going to be on Kelsey's ass. And if Kelsey even bobs his head or even, farts, they're going to call a false start penalty on him. As a lot of makeup calls for the ones that, they just missed the last 12 months. They kind of pissed me off. That really did. Yeah, I appreciate you jumping in, man. I really do. I just wanted to cut a video. I haven't cut a video since I've been back. I got back last night. It was sore, to go through all that. I live in Houston, and to fly to Baltimore as a layover, and from there fly to Buffalo, and then go to the game, and then watch us get stomped. It's like whenever you spend money like that and time and effort, you really want to go see your team win. And we were on a 5-game winning streak, just, wallop Philadelphia, and I'm feeling good about that. I'm feeling that we're going to beat Buffalo. Or if we were to lose, it'd be a close game. I did not see 31-3 count. It was 31-3. That last touchdown was garbage time. I mean, they took Josh Allen out with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Just embarrassing. The experience was cool. My bucket list is to see us play every team in the NFL live. My friend's bucket list, who I went with, his bucket list is he wants to see us play in every stadium in the NFL, which will be kind of hard because new stadiums are going to be being built. Buffalo's getting a new stadium built. So in 8 years, when we go back there, it'll be a new stadium. And other teams also as well. I just want to see us play every team live, whether it's home or away. That's my bucket list. I think, that's kind of cool. So I can check Buffalo off there, even though it wasn't a good one. But on the way back on the plane. You put it in airplane mode. You can go to Wi-Fi. Went to ABC and I was able to NBC. I was able to watch Eagles game on the plane, and watching them lose gave me some solace, and I was able to get something out of that trip, seeing Philly fall three in a row, and then seeing what Darius Slay had to say, what Hurts had to say, and what AJ Brown had to say, and when you see smoke, there's fire, Oh man, you live in Houston, they hate us too. You talking about Philly? Philly hates Houston. I didn't really know that the Oilers or the Texans ever had a rivalry with the Kelly Green. But the Eagles are the one team that we are not afraid to see in the playoffs, whether it's home or on the road. Even if we got to go to the link in the playoffs to play Philly, we're going to drop them, as we should have dropped them November 9th, or it was week 9. But yeah, that game was ours. We just gave it away. But we've been getting better every week. I believe this loss against Buffalo was just an aberration. A wake-up call that we needed, because sometimes when we get hot and we're putting 40 up every game, 5 games in a row, and we beat the team with the best record in the league at that time, we start getting big-headed. So losing to Buffalo in the fashion that we did could be a blessing in disguise, just like it was at San Fran. Now I get into it with the Texan fans. A lot oh yeah, man. I can't stand the Texans. I couldn't stand the Oilers when they were here in Houston. It was kind of tripped out on Sunday because Tennessee was playing Houston, but Tennessee had the Oiler uniforms on. So it looked like it was the Houston Oilers playing the Houston Texans. It's kind of tripped out looking. I thought that was kind of funny that he chose to wear those uniforms playing the Texans on that particular Sunday. But yeah, season's far from over. These last 3 games are going to be big. And these talking heads on the 3-4 letter networks are talking like the Eagles are just going to waltz through the last 3 games like it's nothing. They are leaking oil and gasoline and radiator fluid, and their tires are flat. They have so many damn problems, you can't count them. And their defense is, in every statistical category, is either 28th or last. That's how bad their defense is. Their defense is just a bunch of names. They're not a unit. They're just a bunch of names, and that's it. That's why I believe the Giants, especially if their left tackle's playing, who's an all-pro, and the right tackle who's getting better, and their first-round center with Darren Waller, I believe they can run that ball against Philly very well. And I believe DeVito, who's a scrambling quarterback, can run for 60, 70 yards himself and throw for 200. Darren Waller can tear Philly up over the middle. Darius Leonard can't cover a tight end. Not anymore. Nakobe Dean's out. Nicholas Morrow. Nakobe Dean, even when he wasn't out, he wasn't that good. Shady McCoy is the worst. He may just be the worst. He may just be worse than that bum Stephen A's hairline. Yeah, I can't stand Shady McCoy. Oh, and speak for yourself. He acts like he's been doing TV for so long, and then like he knows he's just ignorant. After this will be the last thing before I go eat dinner. Week 9 when we went to Philly, and we were 6 yards away from winning that game. We didn't win the game. The following Monday, he had the damn Eagle on the set, and he was saying the Cowboys played the best game they could possibly play against us. They played the best they could possibly play, and they still couldn't win. So what does that tell y'all? That they can't beat us. They can't beat us. He said that with conviction. And I was looking at him like, are you fucking serious? You believe that we cannot beat y'all? Well, we should have beat y'all in that Week 9 matchup. We can't. So you think that that was the best game that we could put out? That Week 9 game was the best game that we could put out. McCoy is what you're saying. You're an idiot. And so I could not wait till December 10th when they came to our house and they beat us by 5 points, and we were 6 yards away from actually beating them at their house. They come to our house and get stopped by 20. Their offense scores 6 points. And then the week after that, they lose against a backup quarterback. I mean, switching defensive coordinators on a Wednesday, midweek, that's abnormal. It's something you don't do. And Shady McCoy today was saying, well, Matt Patricia, calling the plays on defense, down on the field. I like the way our defense looked. Da, 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 da. You were going against Drew Lock. If Geno Smith had been playing, Geno would have thrown for 500 yards on y'all, man. Geno has skill. That's why you got paid that $30 million contract in the offseason. Drew Lock is a backup. He's a Cooper Rush. He is not he's not a guy that's going to throw for 500 yards, 4 touchdowns. Geno can do that. He did it to us. If he can do it to us, he can damn well do it to y'all. So they almost lucked out by having Geno not play, but it still didn't matter because they still lost to Drew Lock, the backup quarterback. And their offense only scored 17. That is what it is. They've scored 19 against San Fran. They opened up with 2 field goals, so the last 13 points were garbage time points. They scored 6 against us, and then that 1 defensive touchdown, and then scored 17 against Seattle. They haven't broke 20 points in 3 games in a row. And their defense is horrific. So, no, I would not be surprised if they lose Christmas Day against the Giants because they have a psychological thing going on in their head and a lot of dissension going on amongst the organization. And that's the worst thing you can have happen to a team. Now, we're going to bounce back. When we beat Miami, our confidence is going to go sky high again. You can bet that. We'll be the number 2 seed. We'll host 2 playoff games. And then the championship game, hopefully San Fran has a fluke game and loses. If not, we'll be going to the Bay Area to continue the 90s championship game series. We played them in the championship game in the 80s, 3 straight years in the 90s, and then this will be the 3rd straight year in the playoffs, 21, 22, and 23. So after this uploads, guys, and y'all watching it tomorrow, hit that subscribe button. My first game was Super Bowl 28 against Buffalo in the Georgia Dome. I was 6 years old. That night, I don't know why, I just fell in love with the star. Played the game my entire youth, been a student of the game my entire life. Yeah, Shaq Leonard didn't help nothing. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe we got lucky not getting him. Or maybe Dan Quinn. If we would have got him, maybe Dan Quinn would have gotten the best out of him and, had him as, run stuff in linebacker. He's bigger than Marquise Bell. What we need to do right now is put Micah Parsons at Mike linebacker for 1st and 2nd down. And then on pass rushing downs, put him at defensive end or wherever. But we need to put Micah, All right, my man. I appreciate it, bro. Put God first and foremost, everybody. He comes before everything, even this. Seek him in his righteousness, and all these other things will be added unto you. I am a living testimony of that. I have to say that at the end of every one of my videos. That's very important. But we're America's team. We're God's team. The reason why Texas Stadium had a hole in the roof is so on Sundays after church, God could just look down, didn't have to use X-ray vision, and could just look through that hole in the roof and watch the team play. I love that legend. I believe in that legend. All right, guys. Tomorrow is Wednesday. We're driving to San Antonio to get my wife's puppy for Christmas. It's holiday season. Y'all have a good week. I'll catch y'all later on this week. Hopefully there'll be some developments in Zach Martin and Jonathan Hankins, practicing health. Are they going to play or they're not going to play? Because those are two key players. Hankins is the anchor of the defensive line. Martin is the anchor of the offensive line. We need them two guys going into Miami and down the stretch to be healthy. So that's it for this live show, guys. Hour and 5 minutes. Teflon Breed, my new guy. Appreciate you, my brother. You have a good night. I'll see y'all soon. Charles in Charge is out. First class content all day, every day. Y'all just watch. This show is going to grow and be a diamond gem. I guarantee you that.